Hey guys, Jason here with an episode of Sports Buzz. Today I want to give my thoughts on the new A-Rod suspension story, okay? If you guys didn't hear, I believe it was Sunday, A-Rod was given a trial, basically, an appeal session by Major League Baseball. His suspension was reduced from 211 games as originally handed down in August, I believe, of 2013, so August of last year, September last year. This is the end of last year, I know that for sure. To 162 games, so he'll be suspended for the entire 2014 season. He can go to spring training with the team as he is still in contract. He will not play in the postseason. It does include the postseason, that suspension. He does want to go to the spring training facility, I believe, to make a big scene on this, kind of like Ryan Braun did. Although Ryan Braun was not suspended at the time, and all the hype was on him during the spring training, and kind of messed with the Brewers, especially early in that season, I believe, if I remember correctly. All right, so that's the suspension. That's the basics of it. Obviously, A-Rod is still under contract. He signed, I believe, a 10-year deal. I don't know how many years ago, but they owe him a lot of money still. So he doesn't want to void that contract. I think he should stay away from the spring training facility and should not come anywhere near the team, at least for this year. Alright, so my thoughts, again, on his future. This next thing I want to get to, my thoughts on his future. Obviously, the suspension, he was going to be 39 this July. If you look back at his numbers, and I didn't actually look back at the numbers before I looked at the video, but obviously he's been productive when healthy, but injuries has really plagued him. Kind of like obviously when you get older, injuries. He's had 2 hip surgeries, and just he carries a circus now with him. Obviously he when the suspension was handed down, he played, and he played okay, I want to say, but. I don't know. I don't know his future. I think, obviously, like I said, he'll be 39 this year. He won't play, so he'll be 40 when he tries to come back, or going on 40 in the next year in July. I don't know if the Yankees are going to bring him back. I think honestly they should buy out his contract. I know that's going to hurt the Yankees for sure. But what else are you going to do? I mean, you don't want to send him down to your minor league team. You don't want to cut him. Although you could, but he gets that money, I believe, and. You don't want to risk that. Excuse me. I don't think a team's gonna go after him. I just think his future's over with unless he goes to maybe Japan, Korea, international baseball if he really wants to. I just don't think any team's gonna buy him, gonna take his circus with him. That he brings, kind of like like the Ryan Braun situation, that we saw a couple years ago when he was, when his suspension was gonna be handed down for that drug appeal. One thing that I do think that hurts him, obviously, with the suspension, I did mention before, Ryan Braun was suspended 65 games just because he took the steroids for the second time. Obviously I say just because, and obviously that's kind of an understatement. Steroids shouldn't be allowed in baseball. And in the fact that A-Rod tampered with his evidence from the Tony Bosch biogenesis thing, the lab, obviously, he deserves that suspension, I believe, and that's something that is going to be debated. Obviously, was suspension too long? And I've seen ESPN analysts kind of going back and forth on that. Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, most notably this morning. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to decide this. Another thing I want to mention here is A-Rod's Hall of Fame. As we're talking about his future, obviously, if he retires, I believe he has 5 years until he's eligible for the Hall of Fame. If you look at his numbers again. And again, I didn't look at them. I'm sorry about that, but off the top of my head, I consider A-Rod to be one of the best baseball players, pure baseball players of my generation. Obviously, the circus and whatnot, but on the field, in his younger years with the Seattle Mariners, he was a beast on defense, especially. And he was pretty good offensively early in his years, and then. As we get to Yankee years, obviously all those home runs. I believe he's got somewhere in the 600 range for home runs. He was touted to be maybe the home run king at one time. There was a countdown for his pace for the home run to get to Barry Bonds and Hank Aaron's records there. And obviously, I don't think it's going to happen. As I just said, I think he'll be done. But I think if you're just going purely on his on the field actions, and maybe you kind of put an asterisk next to him, but he could eligibly be eligible for the Hall of Fame rather. I don't know if that'll happen, obviously, because the baseball writers panel there, obviously there was a big scandal with Dan Le Batard this week, kind of giving his vote away because he thought it was tainted. But they've surpassed Sammy Sosa. They've kind of surpassed Barry Bonds. They've surpassed Mark McGwire, Rafael Palmeiro, Jose Canseco, I believe too. And that tells you something. They're trying to just get away from this era. Obviously there's a lot of players there, so you can't bring out every one of them. But A-Rod would be one of those big names that kind of has risen into this generation. And I think deserves a fair shot still. I mean, regardless, if you look on the field, off the field, and other issues. If you look at him a whole package, he does not. But I'm just purely going on the field. All right, another thing I do want to mention finally is MLB's image in this whole situation. Obviously, when the news broke on Saturday, there was not much as far as MLB, I believe. And then Sunday, I was watching local TV station here in the Chicagoland area, and you see 60 Minutes, and you see Tony Bosch, and they're talking about how A-Rod took basically every drug under the sun and every steroid under the sun, trying to get himself healthy, and we could say whatever you want, healthy, trying to get a competitive advantage. And I just think it's bad for the MLB, the way they have portrayed themselves in this case, especially afterwards, recently, parading Tony Bosch out there, trying to get his side of the story right away, trying to kind of rub it in A-Rod's face. Commissioner Bud Selig wouldn't talk to the grand jury when he was asked to many, many years ago, but now it was on 60 Minutes talking about the issue, so I think that's wrong as well. I just think all around it's wrong, and it's made the MLB look bad. Obviously when they kind of went after A-Rod, and it's kind of good because they're setting an example. It's bad because a lot of fans are being turned away from the MLB. A lot of the attendance is down, and a lot and whatnot. So I think it hurts and helps the MLB in the long run. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode of Sports. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. What are your opinions on A-Rod? What are your opinions on the storied era in baseball? Do you think A-Rod will be a Hall of Famer? Do you think he will come back after the 2014 season? As I said, he would be suspended for the entire 2014 season, including the playoffs. His suspension was broken down from 211 games, to a full season to 162. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think he'll be a Hall of Famer, as I said? Do you think he'll come back? And what do you think the MLB's image is in this situation? Thank you, guys. Please give your thoughts below if you're interested. Please subscribe also if you're interested. Give it a like if you like this video. I try to put on videos as much as I can. I have a couple album review corners hopefully the next couple months here. I'm very, very busy at the moment. If you have any questions, comments, anything, please let me know. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Sports Buzz. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.